So I was raised in a really wonderful home. I went to church every Sunday, was baptized really young, and accepted Christ really young. But as I became a teenager and got a little older, my faith definitely took a back seat. I started making some really poor choices and just kind of leading a lifestyle that wasn't honoring God in any way, shape, or form. And one of the consequences of those choices was I ended up getting pregnant at 17. And due to the circumstances around that, I raised my son alone for a long time. It was really hard. I remember going to school and also working 2 jobs, and it just was a really hard time. But I knew that God redeemed my story through this amazing little boy that I had. It was a few years later whenever I met my husband, who was an amazing man who loved my son and loved me so much. And I really thought that this was the epitome of coming full circle, that God had fixed everything and like this was it. My story was done. And in 2014, at the end of October, my husband was actually killed in a motorcycle accident. And it's at that time whenever I realized that I was looking to my husband to fulfill every need and every void in my life. And it led to a lot of angriness and bitterness in my heart and a lot of separation from God. After my husband passed away, it kind of was another rock bottom for me. Not only was it I think I was 27 when it happened, and I was 17 whenever I had my son. And so I just remember being back to square one. I'm again a single mom. I'm here alone doing this, and I'm feeling very much a lot of separation from God, just feeling like I was alone in the world and no one cared. But it was what God gave me at 17, this blessing of a son, that got me through that time. And God used that to kind of restore and work in my life little by little. And I actually, there was a moment where I stopped looking at God as someone who didn't care for me. I started looking at him as a father who loved me. And even if my life didn't go according to my plan, that he had a purpose for me, and he is good, and good things are going to happen regardless of what they might, even if they're not in my plan or what I want. And it was a few years later whenever I met a sweet family who kept on inviting me and opening the door for me to come to Second. And I kind of pushed it aside and just said I didn't want to come, and maybe later, I'll check it out later. But they kept on coming and opening the door, and it was really the best thing that could have happened for me. Since we've been here, we've been so connected to the community here, and been involved in the student ministry. My son has so many friends and just such a great support system and network around us that we really feel like we've actually found a family here.